What if tomorrow morning every headline was identical? Every news anchor recited the same script. Every social media post echoed government approved messaging. No dissent, no debate, and if someone dared to speak out, they vanished. This isn't a dystopian novel. It's reality for millions of people around the world. And here's the part that should concern you and me. The difference between a free press and a controlled one isn't a chasm, it's a slippery slope. One that history has shown can be crossed faster than you'd ever expect. In an age of information overload, one thing should be clear. Without a truly free press, democracy suffocates. Independent journalism isn't just about reporting facts, it's about keeping power in check, giving a voice to the unheard and protecting the public from manipulation. But right now, trust in the media is plummeting. Journalists are under attack and the very concept of truth is being weaponized. So does a free press still matter? The answer isn't just yes, it's that it may matter more now than ever before. In this video, we'll break down 3 critical roles only a free press can play, uncovering the truth in an age of misinformation, holding power accountable, and keeping democracy itself alive. We'll look at historical warning signs, today's rising threats from censorship to corporate control, and what we can do to protect press freedom before it's too late. No matter where you fall on the political spectrum, this affects you, because when the press loses its freedom, so do we. Let's dive in. We live in a time where information moves faster than ever, but here's the catch. So there's misinformation. Fake news spreads 6 times faster than real news. AI can now generate realistic deepfake videos in seconds. Entire troll farms are dedicated to manufacturing narratives that shape elections, public opinion, and even international conflicts. But misinformation doesn't just come from shadowy online actors. It can originate from mainstream sources, corporations, or even governments. Take the Iraq War, for example. In the early 2000s, major news networks uncritically repeated claims that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. The public, relying on trusted news outlets, believed these reports. By the time investigative journalists dug deeper and exposed the lack of credible evidence, the war was already well underway. And this problem has only intensified in the digital age. Social media platforms prioritize engagement, not accuracy. Sensational falsehoods generate more clicks than nuanced truths. This creates echo chambers where misinformation spreads like wildfire, reinforced by algorithms designed to keep us outraged and addicted. That's why an independent press is essential. It's not just about reporting the news, it's about verifying it. Investigative journalists have uncovered everything from Watergate to the Panama Papers, exposing corruption, war crimes, and corporate greed. Without them, those in power write the story, and we just read what they want us to see. A free press isn't just a mirror reflecting society. It's a watchdog, barking when something's wrong. Take Watergate. In 1972, 2 Washington Post reporters, Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein, followed a money trail that led all the way to President Nixon. It wasn't just good journalism, it was democracy in action. Their relentless investigation uncovered illegal wiretapping, political espionage, and obstruction of justice at the highest levels of government. Without them, Nixon might have gotten away with it. Instead, he resigned in disgrace. This is the power of journalism, forcing even the most powerful to answer for their actions. Or consider whistleblower Edward Snowden. In 2013, Snowden leaked classified documents revealing that the US government was conducting mass surveillance on its own citizens. His disclosures sparked a global debate on privacy, government overreach, and the ethics of intelligence gathering. Without the press to publish these findings, the public might never have known about the extent of government spying. And let's not forget Jamal Khashoggi, the Saudi journalist brutally murdered for criticizing the regime. His death was a warning. Speak out and you disappear. The Saudi government denied involvement, but investigative journalists uncovered damning evidence linking the assassination directly to the highest levels of Saudi leadership. This kind of fearless reporting is what holds power accountable. This is why a free press matters. Not because journalists are perfect, not by a long shot, but because they make sure no one, no matter how powerful, is above scrutiny. The press isn't called the fourth estate for nothing. It's as vital to democracy as free elections and independent courts, because when information is controlled, so are the people. History gives us countless examples. Look at Soviet Russia. The government controlled every newspaper, every radio station. Dissenting journalists were sent to gulags. The result? A nation that only knew what the state wanted them to know. Citizens had no way to question authority or challenge official narratives. When the press is an extension of the government, the people become passive consumers of propaganda rather than active participants in democracy. Now, you might be thinking, that could never happen here or anywhere that I know. But suppression doesn't always come in the form of armed guards storming a newsroom. Sometimes it looks like billionaires buying up media outlets and reshaping narratives. Sometimes it looks like political leaders labeling the press as the enemy of the people. These are red flags, and history shows that when the press loses its power, democracy is next in line. Press freedom is under attack, and not just in dictatorships, in democracies too. Governments are passing fake news laws that allow them to shut down inconvenient reporting. Journalists are being harassed online, doxxed, and even assaulted for their work. Meanwhile, newsrooms are shrinking, and local newspapers are shutting down, leaving communities in information deserts where politicians operate unchecked. And let's talk about who owns the news. Right now, a handful of corporations control most of the media you consume. That's dangerous. When a small group decides what gets published, and more importantly, what doesn't, we lose something priceless. A press that serves the people, not the powerful. Press suppression doesn't always come in the form of overt censorship. It often manifests through legal intimidation, economic pressure, or violence against journalists. During the George Floyd protests, journalists faced unprecedented attacks while covering the demonstrations. One of the most striking incidents involved CNN's Omar Jimenez, who was arrested on live television despite clearly identifying himself as press. Many other reporters were assaulted, hit with rubber bullets, or detained while covering police brutality. Ironically, the very issue they were reporting on. These attacks were well documented by organisations like the US Press Freedom Tracker and Reuters, highlighting the risks journalists face even in democratic societies. In a troubling case of government overreach, the FBI raided the home of journalist Tim Burke, seizing electronic devices related to his reporting on leaked Fox News footage. This raised concerns about press freedom and the ability of journalists to protect their sources. The Washington Post reported that such actions set a dangerous precedent, discouraging investigative reporting and whistleblowing. Speaking of whistleblowing, the ongoing prosecution of Julian Assange under the Espionage Act has sparked a global debate about press freedom. Assange, the founder of WikiLeaks, published classified documents exposing government misconduct, leading to charges that could criminalise standard journalistic practices. Press freedom advocates, including The Guardian, argue that if Assange is convicted, it could have a chilling effect on investigative journalism worldwide. The growing concentration of media ownership in the hands of a few billionaires threatens editorial independence. For example, Jeff Bezos' acquisition of the Washington Post and Elon Musk's control over Twitter, now known as X, have led to concerns about whether financial interests influence journalistic integrity. NPR has reported that corporate influence over the media can shape narratives, limiting the public's access to unbiased news. But you might be asking yourself, why does any of that actually matter? Well, when journalists are harassed, arrested, or financially pressured, the public loses access to critical information. A democracy cannot function if the press is too afraid to report the truth. By tracking these threats, we can recognise the importance of defending press freedom before it erodes further. The press isn't perfect, never has been, nor will it ever be. But what's the alternative? A world where the truth is dictated, not discovered? If you value democracy, if you value truth, then you must value a free press, because when the media falls silent, so does democracy itself.